In the year 2000, a man became president of the United States while losing the popular vote by more than 500,000 votes. 16 years later, in 2016, it happened again. This time, the margin was nearly 3 million votes. If you are watching this and asking how that is even possible in a democracy, that is exactly the right question. And the answer to that question is the Electoral College. If you have ever searched for Electoral College explained and walked away more confused than when you started, this video is built specifically for you. By the end of the next 15 minutes, you will know exactly how does the Electoral College work, why the founders built it this way, and why understanding this system is essential for any informed American, regardless of your political beliefs. Let us get into it. Before we get into the mechanics, I want to frame why this matters to you personally. Whether you are a first-time voter trying to understand the system, a young professional who wants to be genuinely informed, or someone who has followed politics for years but never had the Electoral College fully explained in a way that made complete sense, this breakdown is for you. Here is what we are covering today. First, why does the Electoral College exist at all? What problem were the founders actually trying to solve? Second, how does the Electoral College work mechanically? Electoral votes, winner-take-all, swing states, all of it broken down clearly. Third, the two sides of the debate. The strongest arguments for keeping the Electoral College and the strongest arguments for replacing it, presented objectively, no partisan agenda, and finally, the gentleman's verdict. Not which side is right, but how a genuinely informed person thinks about this debate. This is Electoral College for beginners done properly. Let us start at the beginning. The year is 1787, the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia. 55 delegates are attempting something that had never been successfully done before, designing a functional democratic republic from scratch. They faced a problem that sounds simple but was genuinely complex. How do you elect a president in a country where most citizens have no reliable access to information about candidates beyond their own state or region? Remember, there was no national media in 1787, no telegraph, no newspaper that reached all 13 states. A farmer in Georgia had almost no way of knowing anything meaningful about a candidate from Massachusetts. The founders debated three main options. Option 1, direct popular vote. Every citizen votes directly, highest total wins. Option 2, Congress selects the president. The legislature chooses the executive. Option 3, a body of selected electors, informed, educated representatives from each state who cast votes on behalf of their populations. Each option had serious problems. A direct popular vote, the founders argued, risked what they called mob rule. The danger that a charismatic but unqualified figure could win purely on emotion and name recognition without the larger states needing to consider the interests of smaller ones at all. Congressional selection created a different problem. It would make the president permanently dependent on the legislature, undermining the separation of powers that was the entire foundation of the new government. The Electoral College was the compromise, and the key word there is compromise, which means it was not a perfect solution. It was the most workable solution available to those specific men in that specific moment. Understanding that framing that the Electoral College was a practical compromise born from specific historical constraints is essential before you can honestly evaluate the debate about whether it should still exist today. That is context first. Now let us talk about how it actually works. So, how does the Electoral College work? Let us go through this step by step. Step 1. Electoral votes are assigned to each state. Every state receives a number of electoral votes equal to its total congressional representation, meaning its number of House seats plus its 2 Senate seats. California, the most populous state, has 54 electoral votes. Wyoming, one of the least populous, has 3. The total number of electoral votes across all 50 states plus Washington, D.C. is 538. Step 2. To win the presidency, a candidate must reach 270 electoral votes, not a majority of the popular vote, not the most votes nationally. 270 electoral votes. That is the threshold. That is the entire game. Step 3, winner take all. In 48 of the 50 states, the candidate who wins the most votes in that state, even by a margin of 1 vote, receives all of that state's electoral votes. This is the winner-take-all rule. Maine and Nebraska are the 2 exceptions. They can split their electoral votes by congressional district. I want to be transparent here. The exact mechanics of how Maine and Nebraska allocate votes are worth verifying at usa.gov or the National Archives before assuming this detail is completely current, as rules can be amended at the state level. Step 4, swing states. Here is where the system produces its most significant real-world effect. Because most states reliably vote for the same party in every presidential election, what are called safe states, presidential campaigns focus their time, money, and policy attention almost entirely on a small number of genuinely competitive states. These are commonly called swing states or battleground states. The consequence of this is significant and worth sitting with. A presidential candidate can mathematically win the election while spending almost no time campaigning in the majority of American states. Whether that is a feature or a flaw depends entirely on which side of the Electoral College debate you sit on. And that brings us to the debate itself. This is the section where I want to be especially clear about something. What follows is not my opinion. It is the strongest version of each argument, presented as honestly as I can. A gentleman does not dismiss either side before he fully understands both. The case for the Electoral College. Argument 1, it protects smaller states from being completely ignored. In a pure popular vote system, a candidate could theoretically win the presidency by focusing entirely on the highest population urban centers, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, and never addressing the concerns of rural states or smaller populations at all. The Electoral College forces candidates to build geographically broader coalitions. Argument 2, it promotes regional stability. By requiring a candidate to win a distributed geographic majority rather than a pure numerical one, the Electoral College arguably prevents a candidate who is intensely popular in one region but deeply unpopular in others from winning the presidency. This, its defenders argue, reduces regional polarization over time. Argument 3, it produces clear outcomes. The Electoral College almost always produces a decisive winner on election night. In a direct popular vote system with multiple candidates, you could theoretically have a president elected with 30 or 35% of the popular vote if the field is fractured enough. The case against the Electoral College. Argument 1, it can and has produced presidents who lost the popular vote. This has happened 5 times in American history, most recently in 2000 and 2016. Critics argue that in a democracy, the candidate who receives the most votes from the most citizens should win, and full stop. Anything else, they argue, is a fundamental misalignment between democratic principle and electoral outcome. Argument 2, it concentrates campaign attention in a handful of swing states. The flip side of the swing state dynamic is that the vast majority of Americans live in states that are not genuinely competitive. Critics argue this means their votes functionally matter less in a presidential election than the votes of citizens in swing states, creating unequal political representation. Argument 3, the original justifications no longer apply. The information problem the founders were solving in 1787, the lack of national information access, no longer exists. Every American now has instant access to information about every candidate. Critics argue the mechanism that was designed to solve a problem that no longer exists should be reconsidered. Both sets of arguments are serious. Both deserve to be understood on their own terms. That is what political literacy actually looks like. Here is the gentleman's verdict on the Electoral College debate. A statesman does not need to win this argument. He needs to understand it completely. The Electoral College is not simply a quirky American tradition. It is a carefully constructed institutional mechanism built to solve specific problems in a specific historical moment. And it has produced both intended and unintended consequences across more than 2 centuries of American elections. The debate about whether it should be reformed or replaced is a legitimate, serious constitutional conversation. It is not a partisan one, even though it has become tribal in the current media environment. Here is what I want you to take from this breakdown. Now that you understand how does the Electoral College work, mechanically, historically, and politically, you are no longer a passive observer of presidential elections. You understand the rules of the game. You understand why swing states receive disproportionate attention. You understand why a candidate can win the presidency while losing the popular vote. And you understand the genuine trade-offs that both sides of this debate are wrestling with. That is not a small thing. Most people who have opinions about the Electoral College have never had it fully explained to them. You now have. That is the difference between political opinion and political understanding. And that difference is exactly what this channel is built to give you. If this breakdown gave you a genuinely clearer picture of how the American electoral system works, subscribe to this channel right now, because in the next video, we are going inside Congress, and I promise you how Congress actually works is significantly different from anything you were taught in school. And if you want to go deeper than YouTube can take you, if you are the kind of man who wants to build genuine political intelligence, not just consume political content, my one-on-one coaching program is designed exactly for that. The details, the structure, and the application are all at kentpolitics.com/coaching. The link is in the description below. My name is Kent Tran. This is The Political Gentleman. I will see you on Friday.